Hello everyone and happy Sunday. Actually today is the first day of fall, I believe, Sunday the 21st of September. So here we are with another oil painting video. We got a little smaller canvas than we've been doing. This is a 14 by 18 as opposed to the 16 by 20s that we normally do. This is another Blick canvas. The other one's the economy canvas, which is a very good canvas. This is the Blick Premier, and it's back stapled, it's folded under, they got the stretcher bars like this. It's a really nice heavy duty canvas. I've got 3 of these. They were on sale and I figured, I give them a shot. I'll do some videos with them and see what they look like. I mean, I'm pretty much completely sold on the ampersand gesso board that I use. But every once in a while, I still like to try other canvases and see if I like them, if it's something great, not great, whatever the case may be. So let's give this one a try, okay? So we're gonna go with our normal Payne's Gray and Viridian Green and our Walnut Alkyd Medium. Put some stuff down. Yeah, here in the Chicago area, the western suburbs of Chicago, we've got something we haven't had in almost 6 weeks. Got some rain. Not a lot of it, nowhere near enough of it. We got straw for grass for the last, I don't know how long, but at least we got something. So that's kind of cool. Let's see here. I can tell already it's a much thicker absorbing canvas. So I need more medium to make it flow the same way I do on the 16 by 20 economy ones. Which I'm not sure if I like this better or not. The economy ones, the paint flowed really well. This, I don't know, let's see how it goes. I haven't done a lot of work on these, so I'm not an expert on them by no stretch, so we'll kind of just go at it and see what we do. See what we do. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I still can't believe the summer's over. It seemed like it took forever to get here, and then once it got here, warp speed and it's gone. Okay, so that's like that. Just get this line straight. Remember, I'm not a big fan of straight lines except on opposite banks. So this is probably going to be a river bank here. There we go. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do for a mountain or anything yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wipe off the brush. And I'm going to go into some blue. Now usually I have one blue, French ultramarine. Once in a while, I use cerulean. I got them both on the palette today for some reason. Why? I'm not sure. But I put a little cerulean on thinking I may need it for something today. Hopefully I don't waste it, and I do use it. I mean, I'm actually using a mixture of cerulean and French ultramarine right now. So we'll see how it goes. I'm using more medium than normal. Like I said, this is not spreading as well as the other canvas I use. So far, and this has only been a few minutes, I like the economy canvas better. It just, I don't know, the paint glides off the brush a lot easier. This is a little more difficult to do. Let me get the medium over to the side here. Go straight into some titanium white. Get the opaque here. I'm done with color for the sky. I think I'm just gonna bring this all the way down now and get it lighter as I go down the horizon, which for atmospheric perspective is a good thing anyway. Plus I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any mountains or hills. I usually have something, so I may, and I don't want it too thick. I don't want to have to go over too much wet paint with mountains and stuff. So I'll see what I'll do. That's a good looking sky. The other thing too about this one, For landscapes, it's not so bad, but if you're going to do portraiture or anything that's really fine, it's a little heavier texture than the ones that are called the economy. But, you know, I don't like some of the names some manufacturers give stuff because it gives it a cheap connotation. And yeah, it's not a real expensive canvas that's, you know, going to cost you an arm and a leg, and you're not going to make a piece of art on it that you're going to sell for $20,000. So in that respect, it is economy, but the quality is very good on it, the one I've been using. It's a very good quality. The canvas itself is stretched real well to where it stays really taut. A lot of lesser quality canvases get real loose, and some of them have the keyholes in the back to tighten it up. Some don't. A lot of the inferior canvases don't. So it's the economy is a great deal. So if you ever want to get a really good canvas at a really dirt cheap price, check out Blick's economy canvases. Those are the ones I normally use that are 16 by 20. They've got several sizes at Blick online, and I am not affiliated with Blick whatsoever. I just like the product. I'm gonna say this is a nice heavy duty canvas. It just, I don't know, something about it I'm not sold on right now at the moment. Okay, now I'm going to reestablish my tree line. And for that, I'm going to use the same mixture I used before, but I'm going to go a little bit more opaque. I'm not going to clean the brush. It's got a lot of blue on it. I'm just going to wipe it off here in a sec. And then I'm going to go right into the Viridian / Payne's Gray. Maybe a little bit of Alizarin Crimson here and there. And I'm going to be a little bit more opaque, so I'm not going to be using the medium for this part of it now. I'm just going to, I don't want it too thick, just thicker than what I did. I want to just get that foliage look to it. This is a very tedious part of the painting process for me, but it's necessary. And in a minute, I might just wipe that off because it's way too dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Every once in a while I get ahead of myself and I get a little too dark. There we go. And as I say many times, the beauty of oil painting is you can wipe it off because it's not going to get it's not going to dry that quick. Acrylics, yeah. Oils, no. A little bit more Viridian, John. Come on already. There we go. More Viridian. Wow. Whole trace. Making noise here. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to put a mountain in. I know I'm putting water in. I always do. I don't know if I'm capable of having a painting without water. Might be something to try one of these days. But I don't know. Water just is so beautiful. So relaxing. I think I'm going to do is I might put a little bit of a hill back here. Nothing major, just a nice little hill. One of the things about Viridian I like is it mixes really well with everything. With blue, with the Alizarin Crimson, it mixes good with the Payne's Gray, obviously, that I use a lot with it. It's a real good versatile color. It's a permanent color. It's a light fast color. It's a really good color to have. That's the only tube green I have, actually. I used to be a big connoisseur of sap green, and then I traded the sap green for the Viridian. want to make different heights here. I don't want everything the same. And this top's faint like this, that's a good thing. Okay, this looks like crap right now, but that's okay, it won't later. Now let's reestablish where our riverbank's gonna be. There we go. We got that established. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do anything for big mountains. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some rocks. Yeah, I'll put a few rocks. Not a lot, just a few. A little bit of Alizarin Crimson and blue and burnt umber. There we go. I'm just gonna put this mixture around. Nothing major here. Different directions. I forget where I was. I think it was at Starved Rock. I think that's in like Ithaca, Illinois, Utica, Illinois. Yeah, that's right, Utica. And I saw an area that's similar to what I'm doing right here, where it's got some real nice dense forestry, woods in the back. It's got some rocks that are just right in the front. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'm going to take a brush with all the green, blue, and everything else that I started with. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so you see what I did here? Let's see if it's visible. Yeah, a little bit. I've got these rocks in front of those, just by a little bit, not a lot. So this water, I'm not going to have a big raging river, so it's not going to be really super moving. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put some reflections down in here. And I got just this little indentation. I'm going to bring this down for reflections, and then I'll put in the water. So it's probably going to go, let me see here. I have a lot of green water. I'm not going to put those hills in like I was going to. Thought better of it. I'm going to show you some real easy way to do some real nice reflections. Okay, up here a little bit. Let me see how that's looking on the video. Yeah, that'll work. That will definitely work. Okay, now I just got to figure out where the hell I'm going with it. So I'm going to go it's going to be a large body of water, but not huge. A little bit more medium. I'm having a hell of a time getting this to spread on this canvas. I'm glad I only got two more. Just a little bit too absorbing for me. I'm curious to see how the color is really gonna, at the end when the color dries, usually there's a little bit of a color shift. The paint I use, not too much. But I just want to see if there is, because like I said, it's absorbing a lot. Now I got to check the perspective. It's actually not that bad with the perspective. Let me get the land in first, and then I'll be able to better gauge it. So the land is going to be burnt umber, Alizarin Crimson, Viridian green. No Payne's granite yet. So we get this nice, earthy, brownish, reddish color. And what's nice about that color is you can do almost anything with it. Once I hit it with some of the Cad yellow, it's really going to show up nice. You don't have to do dark into light, light into dark, dark first, light, whatever the case may be. You don't have to do all that stuff in oils or acrylics because of the way they are opaque. However, what I like to do, I gotta take that all the way out. I like to have the darker colors as my base and then go over them with the lighter. Is it a necessity? No. Do you have to do it? Hell no. Now I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's gray in just to darken it up. I want the shoreline to be a little visible for right now. You don't have to do it, but I prefer it. It just helps me keep everything gauged to what I'm doing. Okay, now let me check it out. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, wipe my brush off. I'm not going to clean it off yet. Okay, so with the stretch canvas, I've got this nice lip here that I can grab and manipulate it. That's one advantage over a stretch canvas from the 1/8 inch panels that I use. But that's where it ends for me. The panels are just, in my opinion, so much nicer to paint on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, oh, now I didn't even see that until I got this angle. This side done. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing I did here, tapping in. And then I'm going to make the reflections, and I'll show you how I do that. It's real easy. I am not a Bob Ross connoisseur. Don't get me wrong. I love his videos. They're just relaxing and entertaining. I do very few techniques like him, and most of my reflections I don't do like him, but there are two parts that I do that I use from him, and I'll show you those. Bob Ross was just a master at his videos. His personality and everything was just so much fun. And I'll tell you what, I may not paint like him or even try, but he did inspire me like he inspired millions to pick up a brush and say, you know, let me give it a shot, see what happens. A little bit more. That's a little too much. So I gotta tap that out a little bit. Now I am going to do the same thing with some cerulean in some areas. Just want some blues. And I'll show you what I'm doing after I turn it the other way. There's got to be some blues in there. And the only thing I'm doing with this tapping is just give it a similar texture to what we have on the top. That's all. Okay. Wipe off the brush again. Wow, it's raining again. It's been raining non-stop, well, on and off. Not really hard, but on and off. It's about 6 a.m. Like I said, we were in a drought. Everybody's got straw for grass around here. And the rain, even though it's the end of summer now, is still a welcome change. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, the pressure you're going to put depends on what your surface is. I'm going to tell you right now, just from my experience with the way this is. So, excuse me. What we're going to do is we're going to brush downward straight down to make that reflection, okay? It's not going to be a mirrored reflection. I don't like doing mirror reflections because that's hyperrealism, which I don't do. So we're basically going to go right at the base of the rocks. We're just going to pull it down. And I wanted some blue in there because there's blue in the sky. I want at least some in the water. I'm not pressing hard, maybe medium pressure right now. First thing I want to do is get up to the rocks good. And it's imperative that you go straight down with this. We're going to go cross it in a minute. A little bit of the rock is in there. That's good. Now you're going to take your brush. It's going to go right to the side. Ooh, brush hair. Come on, stubborn one. There we go. Just going to brush it across. Okay, so let me see how that looks there. There you go. That's not bad at all. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and these rocks I'm actually going to take off. That's just going to be land. Because right now I'm going to go over with my trees. There we go. Get the real thick paint on now. There we go. I'm also going to do the same to the reflection with what I'm putting in now. The difference is the paint I'm doing right now is very thick, and it's going to be highlighted with the Cad yellow. I'm not going to highlight in the water, and I'm going to make it a lot less thick. I don't want it to stand out because the reflections aren't supposed to be as thick. They're not going to be as bright, as prominent. They're just going to be a reflection. So there's like an illusion of what's around it. One of the things I hope you're learning from me is it doesn't matter what you have in mind, what you're doing as you're going. With oil paints and acrylics too, for that matter, you can always change it. You can always change your mind. Now just and this is just filling in the forest. Now all that work we did when we were tapping in the beginning, you can see faintly in the back, all the way around. So now you got your thick trees, and in a moment, well, several moments, I'm going to be putting on the Cad yellow to make it a real pretty green. And then you're going to see that nice depth in the back. So the next thing I'm going to do, same thing, but I'm not going to make them, I'm just going to go see how faint that is? In a minute, I'm going to see if you can actually see it. Yes, you can see it good. And when I edit it, I'm going to be cropping it so it'll zoom a little bit more than it is now. So you should be able to see it real well on the final product. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. However, this is a little thicker paint than we did on the back part of it. So what I want to do is do the same technique. However, when I'm pulling it down and across, it's going to go much softer, much lighter pressure. Barely holding the brush. Just want to diffuse it a little bit. This is similar to how we do clouds and waves and stuff like that. Again, straight down. Straight down. There we go. Diffuse it. I don't want to have a ton of, I don't want thick paint here. Same thing, lightly. Very lightly. There we go. There we go. Okay, that turns out real good. Now the next thing I'm going to do, put in the water lines. Now this is going to be a little tricky for you if you're not used to it. And I still screw it up once in a while. I'll use a big palette knife, which is my favorite way to do it. I'm going to try and put paint on this edge. Okay, not the whole blade, just this edge. And then what I want to do is put it up to here and just touch it and pull it out. And what the canvas takes from the knife is the water line. And I need the water lines for sure along here and along here, and then a couple of them in here just to show that part of the water. So I'll show you what I mean. You don't want to get too much paint on the knife. There we go, just touch. A little bit more paint. Yeah, the board is so much easier to take. You want to make them as straight as you can, but they don't have to be perfect. There we go. Yep, they show up. Now I know that's not my normal looking water with the blue and everything else in it, although there is some blue in it. But I wanted to make that reflection a little bit more intense green. I got so much green in here, I wanted to make it that way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is going to take my same dirty brush, go straight into my Cad Yellow. Now I'm not going to do every one of them, just the big ones. And then once I get the yellow on, I'll come back and I will keep tapping them a little harder to blend it in to make the green. I don't want this yellow just by itself. I love yellow, and I love this color yellow, but it's got to be a little bit more green. It may be the first day of fall, but I'm not doing a fall painting yet. That is to come though. Really light tapping, and you're going to get that green coming right off it. And now I'm just going to tap the hell out of it. Basically, this is just blending it now. I'm just blending it so it turns from yellow to green. I'm going to keep some yellow here and there for like bright highlights, but everything else is just going to be a nice pretty green. And remember, our base color for all of these trees was the Payne's Gray, which is a disgustingly, I mean that in a nice way, dark blue, and a Viridian green. So now with this Cad Yellow Medium hue, I love that word hue, now I'm just breaking up the yellow, so now it's just a pretty green. There we go. There we go. Get all those big chunks of paint out. lifting up a little bit of color. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, take a filbert brush. I'm just going to put a little bit of highlight. This rock. There we go. Now I am going to take some of these trees, bring them straight down. One of the things I love doing in paintings is having things in front of and behind stuff. And it just gives everything more depth, that's why. There we go. And the last thing I'm going to do with this is put in just a little bit of ground. At the base of the rocks. You got to be real careful that you don't go into the water. It wouldn't be a disaster. You'd be able to take care of it. You just don't want to be pretty careful. And what this is doing is it's grounding the rocks and the trees that I put down. So it's showing actual ground that these trees are coming out of. Okay, I can deal with that. So the next thing I want to do, work on that bottom. Now I'm going to do this here. So, right now I'm just washing a couple of brushes. And this is actually the first time I've been washing them this painting period. So I've been going on a little while, and it's the first time. And I've yet to wash this brush, my workhorse. There's no reason to. Okay. So right now I'm going to take Viridian, Cad Yellow, Payne's Gray. I'm going to go right over this. I'm going to change up what I was going to do. I was going to tap in grasses and stuff, but I'm going to use the knife instead. And I'll show you how. Make this thicker. Okay, so now you see me do this 1,000 times. Payne's Gray plus whatever dirt is on the brush. Ooh, got right into those water lines. That's okay. I will cover them with foliage, flowers. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe off this brush. Not going to clean it yet because I still got some stuff I'm going to do here. Okay, so now take my palette knife, straight Alizarin Crimson. First thing I'll do is I'll tap in these flowers. And this is just a base color. I'm going to put the yellow on it to get this real pretty orange. And then I'm going to use some of that orange in the background. mid-ground. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the knife flat. How do I do this? And pushing out. And when I put down and pull out, it's going to leave that texture, which I've found is a very appealing foliage texture. Even like little shrubs and bushes and stuff. See the way you get that nice shape? That's all I'm doing. No special technique here. There we go. Now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm just making sure I have the right texture that I want everywhere. And once I get that, then I'm going to tap on gently the yellow. And then when I put that on, it's just going to, that orange is just going to pop. And it's real thick too. And you'll be able to see that in the finished product. See how that just pops? And I'm barely touching it. You know, you remember how you can hear the canvas taking it from the knife? This one you don't, because I don't want to blend it, okay? Well, maybe a little. I don't want to blend it a lot, just a little bit. Everything else I want to just touch it so you get that really pretty red, orange rather. Now another thing too, I want to show you. Let me get these different heights here. So they got some more red, more yellow, more orange, more whatever. Just have a variety. Don't try to make them all look the same, because that'll just mess it up. You don't want them all to look the same. Now I'm going to take some orange from my palette. And I'm just going to put in here and there. What I'm doing is having the color have a little bit of harmony to it. So wherever you have it in one place, you're going to have it in another. Again, I'm letting the canvas take what it wants. Leave the rest on the knife and I'll reload it. Oh yeah, that's got some nice brights to it. Okay, so I'll wipe off this knife. Maybe done with this one. Okay, so I need some more yellow. And I'm gonna put some lemon yellow out here just because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start sculpting this with my big knife. You can see I've used it a little bit. So this is where I'm going to make my grasses and stuff. And then I'm going to use a brush to have some texture in it. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So. This is a really, I don't even know if it's considered a technique, but this is just a fun way to make some grass. Well, a pasture. Okay, so I've got that stuck in there. Wipe off the knife, throw out the paper towel. Now I'll go into the lemon yellow. There you go. Don't worry, it's gonna look better. I know it looks like cagats right now. Now, take the thickness off. There we go. Now, I'm going to go straight into some Viridian. Now I'm going to go straight in some Payne's Gray. I'm just tapping, letting the knife do the work. And I don't want to get rid of all the reds and orange and stuff. I want to keep some in there. You see a lot of that in nature. A little bit of burnt umber in here now. Stand back. Oh yes, that's getting where I want it to be. Okay, so now we'll go back to the small knife. So I have just a little bit more control. And now we're going to take our lemon yellow, and it's mixed with a bunch of stuff. And we're going to gently move it across. See how we do that? Barely touching it, folks. Barely touching it. See how we do that? Just barely touching it. And what that's doing, it's giving you some nice highlights here. And it's nice blends. It's just giving you a nice little, I don't know if it's a lay of the land or what, but it just, I like giving this little bit of, and I'm wiping the knife off every time I do it. I don't want to have my knife kicked up, so I've been wiping it off. Okay? So take more on the knife, barely touch it. Okay, wipe the knife off, barely touch it, barely touch it. There we go. Now, the last thing we're going to do, throw out the paper towel. So there's one more last thing we're going to do. I'm going to take the fan brush, not everywhere, certain areas, just going to this is no technique. This is strictly by sight. Where do you think the grass blades coming up will look the best? That's it. And that's it, my friends. I do believe we have a finished painting. So I hope everybody had a good time. Give this one a try. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. For some reason I was a little clumsy and definitely not on top of my game today. I don't know why. Every once in a while you kind of struggle when you're doing stuff. So even the simplest thing of laying my paint out, preparing for the video this evening, well, this afternoon, it was like, damn, it's more difficult than it should be. But it's the type of thing where you go through it and you adjust as you go, and then you see what happens. The worst that can happen, this one was on their super sale that Blick had, so it was $7 for that canvas. Okay, so yes, $7, especially in this economy, is still $7. But right now, every part of that canvas is wet. Okay, so if you hate it, you could take the knife, scrape it off, take a towel, paper towel, wipe it all off, let it dry for a couple of days, and then you still got your canvas and you can redo it. So the thing about oil paint, one of the many beautiful things, is you have that option. So if you absolutely hate your work, go ahead. I think I told a story once on one of my videos that when I first started, I was using acrylics. Now, obviously, they're different paints, but this is the this is the Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyd medium, Griffin Alkyd oil paints, forgive me. So they dry 24 to 36 hours, so they're not as quickly drying as acrylics, but you could still do something similar to what I did. So I had an 18 by 24 canvas. I bought a decent one, and when I was done with the painting, I didn't use a lot of texture back then, so my paintings were a lot smoother. After it dried completely, I gessoed over it and did another painting. And then when that dried, I gessoed over it and did another painting, and so on. I ended up having like 16 to 20 paintings, I don't remember how many, on the one thing, on the one canvas. That's how many it took before it just was too bulky with color. With oils, you can do it even better with the Griffin Alkyd that I use, because if you scrape it off with a knife, and I'm not going to do that, okay, and then once you scrape it off, go like this with your paper towel, dry paper towel. The next day, it's going to be dry as can be. You don't even have to gesso it at that point in time. And then you use it over and over again. So you can still, oh, I hate that painting. Okay, redo it, no problem. So that's where the oil paint really helps out, because it gives you the opportunity to let it, to wipe it off before it dries. So anyways, apologize for the long-windedness. I hope everybody has a great work week and a great rest of your first day of fall Sunday. And I will see you a week from today. Take care.